This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin Freakin.
Someone commented on YouTube one time, like, what's the deal with the countdown? I'm like, well, that's the most entertaining part of the show. Nix, Warlord, Danielle, the Bretad. Good evening, my friends. So glad to see all of you. I've been waiting on you guys. The countdown's good. The countdown's good, motherfucker. I like the countdown. I like the Halloween countdown that we do for the 2 weeks before Halloween. I like the Christmas countdown with the fucking Hallmark fucking music. Me cakes, good evening. I've been busy as shit today. I haven't had time to do fucking anything, including get high, so I've been waiting on you guys. I might have been able to smoke a bong throughout the day. Still not high enough for this shit. Because you know we got shit to talk about. Apparently I didn't watch any of it earlier today. I almost threw it on. I figured I would wait and watch it with you guys. RFK Jr. testified in front of Congress today. And apparently it got pretty batshit. He yelled at people that he's not an anti-Semite or some shit. Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, not related to presidential candidate Bobby Kennedy. It's a different Kennedy. Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana said some shit about fried chicken that I don't even understand. When I play it for you guys, and I had to get, like, none of the articles that I found about the story had the clip. So I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this exists. And it does. There's video of him saying it. So when I play it for you guys, I really want you guys to explain to me what the fuck he means. Because it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it's one of those folksy things that Senator Kennedy's always saying, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Got news on the fake elector front. The mayor of Wyoming, which, first of all, hold on. So I've been trying to convince Sparkles to move to Wyoming. Wyoming's a state. But is it like fucking it's smaller than a lot of cities? Is it so small that it doesn't have a governor? It has a mayor? Dance, Dustin, dance. Good evening, my friend. Very glad to see you. I guess I'm going to learn something else about Wyoming tonight. The mayor of Wyoming, not the mayor of Cheyenne, Wyoming, the mayor of Wyoming was in on this fake elector scheme. One of the fake electors that was indicted yesterday in Michigan was bragging about how they weren't in jail back in May. And another of the fake electors that was indicted yesterday in Michigan says that she was duped. So, fake elector news coming at you. Trump could be indicted again. This would be the third indictment. Good things always come in threes. Apparently, we're getting another one just for good measure, come next month. But Trump could be indicted again as soon as, like, tomorrow. Fox News had a little panel. They're called the Five. You might have heard of them. The resident Democrat on the panel actually shut everybody else down about the stupid IRS whistleblower, and the video is glorious. We're gonna hear from Representative Ramirez. I have never heard of Representative Ramirez, and apparently the GOP chair of the committee hadn't either, because he called Representative Ramirez the wrong name. But she then goes on to shut down right-wing great replacement theory bullshit with precision. So I'm glad that we're all going to learn the name of Representative Ramirez later on in this stream. So, an Atlanta city council member, and we've got video of this, apparently it gets fucking fiery. An Atlanta city council member called another city council member un-American for pushing for multilingual ballots in Atlanta. And a fight ensued. We're going to hear from the family of a U.S. soldier who, as we learned last night, darted across the border of North and South Korea in the demilitarized zone while he was blending in with a fucking tour. I had no earthly idea that they do fucking guided tours of the demilitarized zone, and they'll take you right up to the fucking border. Like, it's an active war zone. I know, like, so as Americans, we get a biased painting of the world. South Koreans don't consider North Korea to be like the threat that we do. They're not worried about getting nuked the way like we use it to saber rattle. But I would not have expected that they give tours and walk right up to the line. That seems absurd to me. But apparently, that's how a U.S. soldier defected, crossed the line into North Korea, is apparently in North Korean custody. The family of that soldier has spoken out. Wild story. I guess I can go ahead and say the line. Just another day. They just stare at each other. That is true. He was going to be court-martialed. He was being sent back to the United States to be court-martialed. Yes. He was probably going to be discharged. So he was in trouble. And he bolted over the line. Hear from his family later tonight. It's just another day in mass shooting USA. Apparently, cops prevented a mass shooting in Fargo, North Dakota, by becoming victims themselves. A couple of officers got shot. They initiated a traffic stop on a shooter who apparently had a shit ton of ammo. Teen mom hired a hitman, or attempted to hire a hitman to whack her kid. Got video of an iron worker falling from a bridge. Ginger Gaetz attended the premiere of the Barbie movie with her husband Matt Gaetz, congressman from Florida. Says that Ken's testosterone is disappointingly low and that you should not. She went and saw the movie, so you don't have to. Don't go see Barbie, according to Ginger Gaetz. Dude, how many? Raise your hand in the audience if you even know who Pat Boone is. That alone shows you who Fox News is, because this is a Fox News. Jesse Waters just took over that 8 o'clock Tucker Carlson spot. Who does Jesse Waters have on? Pat fucking Boone. I would assume most people, even in my generation, have no goddamn idea who Pat Boone is. I would say most people in Gen X, the generation before me. I'm an elder millennial. I would say that Gen Xers, I wouldn't blame any of them if they didn't know who the fuck Pat Boone. For kiddos, Pat Boone was a Christian rock and roll bebop artist who would take songs considered too risky. He was like a kid's bop, right? So he would do like Christian versions of songs and clean them up. He'd kids bop the fucking song. He put out a metal album in the late 90s or some shit like that. He's the guy from the bathtub commercials. What century is this indeed, Richard? Also, good evening. Good evening, Chainsaw. Shout out to Chainsaw. If you ain't subbed to that motherfucker over on YouTube, if you're still on the Twitch, go give Chainsaw a follow on the Twitch. I miss the being able to shout people out. He was big in the 1950s. I'm still, my appeal is still pending. We're talking 3 months. I got paid by Twitch like fucking day before yesterday. My appeal is still pending. They paid me. And I had just thought about that. I was like, man, like I was on for like half a month. I should have made like $50. And sure and goddamn enough, like I got $55. That's what I was wondering. I was like, well, did they turn down my appeal and that's finally my last check and I'll not be on Twitch again. But no, I go and look and it's still pending. Oh, here's your meme of the day. Cousin tells you that you need to see Sound of Freedom. Are you on the meth again? Fuzzy Simba. I hope I get it back, but even if I get it back, I can't simulcast, so I was thinking an hour on Tuesday, Thursday, but then I was like, why not just do an hour every day on Twitch leading into the 8 o'clock stream. I do an hour at 7 o'clock. I'd come on an hour earlier. Help Warlord out because it's late. Warlord's sleepy. You want me to do Sound of Freedom this weekend? It'd have to be kick only. Sound of Freedom over the weekend. I assume I can pirate it. I assume it would be somewhere where I'd be able to get a hold of it. Because I ain't fucking paying for that shit, that's for sure. Anyway. I understand. So, like, I notice when I'm clipping the show, like, I get tired towards the end, especially when we go for hours and there's a lot of news. The more I have to read, the more tired I get. It's also, I'm actually in the 8 o'clock time zone now. I'm used to doing the show at 7 o'clock and not 8 o'clock. I lived in the central time zone. Red Line, good evening. So glad to see you, my friend. You came just in time to hear about the mayor of Wyoming. Apparently, Wyoming has a mayor. I'm going to need this, I might even have to look this up if the story doesn't explain it to us. The mayor of Wyoming has been charged in the fake electors scheme.
Off the top tonight, 16 people in Michigan are facing charges for their role in the alleged false electors scheme.
Oh, we want to do a watch along, so I need to acquire it. I don't want to go to it. I don't want to go to it at all. No.
Following the 20.
It's 69 degrees. Whenever they were doing this news report at 10 o'clock.
20 U.S. presidential elections.
Nice.
Among them, the mayor of Wyoming. News 8's Taylor Morris in studio tonight with more on this developing story.
Brian, those felony charges were filed by the Michigan's Attorney General's office. I spoke with a legal expert about what this could mean not only for the mayor, but for everyone involved.
We believe the evidence will demonstrate that there was no legal authority for the false electors to purport to act as duly elected presidential electors and execute the false electoral documents.
In a video from the Attorney General's office, Dana Nessel explains why and how 16 people from Michigan, including the mayor of Wyoming, Ken Vanderwood, charged in a fake elector case. She said,
"It's the city of Wyoming, Michigan. That makes a lot more sense."
As the group is now facing several felonies after sending documents to the federal government in an attempt to redirect Michigan's 2020 electoral votes. In a statement, Nessel says the group met covertly in the basement of the Michigan Republican Party headquarters and signed their names to multiple certificates, stating they were the duly elected and qualified electors for President and Vice President of the United States of America for the state of Michigan.
That was a lie. They weren't the duly elected and qualified electors, and each of the defendants knew it.
According to the Attorney General's office, Vanderwood faces charges of conspiracy to commit forgery, 2 counts of forgery, conspiracy to commit uttering and publishing, election law forgery, and 2 counts of election law forgery. The forgery charge alone is a 14-year felony. Earlier today, we were greeted by the mayor's wife when we stopped by their house to see.
Oh, yes, Wood TV.
No comment. Get off our property. It's private property.
In light of these recent charges, the city of Wyoming putting out this statement. We are aware of the charges against Ken Vanderwood. These actions did not take place in his capacity as a city official. With any charges, there is a legal process that needs to be followed. And tonight, politicians are also responding. State Representative Phil Skaggs calling on the mayor to resign. In a partial statement, he says, anyone charged with attempting to overthrow American democracy must face the consequences of the law. regardless of their political affiliation. That's why the individuals who are charged with conspiring to ignore millions of legal Michigan votes, essentially to install Trump as an unelected dictator, must be held to account. We asked Michael McDaniel, a constitutional law expert with Cooley Law, what he thinks about this case.
But I think these are pretty serious charges. I mean, we have individuals, if what is said in the complaint be true, then they had a conspiracy. They had a plan together to forge these documents to throw Michigan.
I think Trump is going to be charged with conspiracy. I think it's going to be like fucking the most serious of serious charges are going to be thrown at him. I don't know how he makes it to the election, but fucking who knows? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Michigan's votes for President of the United States.
The charges were filed in Ingham County. It's unclear when Vanderwood and other defendants will be arraigned. Brian?
Hey, Brian. One of the fake electors in Michigan, there were 16 charged. You just heard about the mayor of Wyoming. Different fake elector who's now facing felony charges, bragged in May about not being in jail. Apparently this is a picture of her laughing. Ha ha. Who's laughing now, ma'am? Ha ha. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel announced on Tuesday her office was filing felony charges against 16 Michiganders for their role in the fake elector scheme. Tones, good evening. The women charged with Michigan Republican Party co-chairwoman Michonne Maddock. I feel like we've talked about her before. In May, she bragged on Twitter about how Democrats wanted her arrested, but that she was still waiting. Michigan woman recently charged with 8 felonies as part of a fake elector scheme in the 2020 presidential election. Previously bragged on Twitter about her lack of arrest at the time. Dems waiting for my arrest. This was accompanied by a GIF of a skeleton tapping its finger on a table, captured waiting. Can we go to it? People dunking on her. Fucking sound of freedom. Cousin tells you that you need to see Sound of Freedom. Are you on the meth again? I had a plethora of memes I could have picked from. Several of them dealing with the Sound of Freedom. A different fake elector in Michigan says that she was duped.
The charges are making national headlines today, and this video is at the center of it all. So-called fake electors trying to get into the state capitol building back in December of 2020 and cast votes for former President Donald Trump. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Kimberly Gill.
I'm Devin Skilly, and more than 3 years later, 16 people facing criminal charges, and tonight we are hearing exclusively from one of those defendants.
Paula Tutman is live with that conversation, and Paula, this person tells a much different story.
Well, yes, she absolutely does. So let's just start with the day where I actually went down the list and started calling every single one of those delegates. I know that they're in legal jeopardy right now, but I wanted to at least give them an opportunity to talk. Didn't get in touch with any of them until I got to Michelle Lundgren. Now,
I love her. She's amazing.
She actually ran in 2022 as a Republican for a state representative. She was unsuccessful. That's Wayne County's 9th district in Detroit. She said she is a duly designated delegate for the Republican Party. She says when she was called to a meeting, she thought she was going as a delegate, not as an elector. Take a listen.
We were duped.
Michelle Lundgren is the 9th name on the list of accused fake electors charged by Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel with 8 felonies that carry up to 80 years in prison if convicted.
Are you recording this?
Yes, you're being recorded. This morning she gave me permission to record our phone conversation, where she explains her version of how her name got on the list of 16 total co-defendants in a scheme the Attorney General alleges tried to steal Michigan's votes for Donald Trump.
The scam was bigger than all of us.
She says she was summoned to Michigan's Republican Party headquarters.
We were told to come. They needed us, and we went, and we were given cake and coffee. We were called by a member of the Republican Party. Be sure you come. We really need your help. I asked if my husband could come in. They said no.
They bribed her with cake and coffee. Fantastic.
No outsiders. And that became very alarming to me. This was kind of suspicious.
She and others were told not to take pictures. She says she and her fellow Republicans, whom she believed to be delegates, not actual electors, were asked to sign in on an index card. Even though she was told not to snap photos, she did, and she emailed them to me this afternoon. She says it proves someone took her signature, along with the others in the room, off a plain piece of paper and transposed them to an official federal election document.
That's what I was thinking, punch it by.
With our names, it fits right into the real elector ballot.
Also in attendance, she says,
we walked to the Capitol building with, it's all in the news, it's all in Google, with attorney Ian Northam, a Trump attorney, and we were not allowed in the building. I was an innocent little bystander in this whole thing, thinking I was doing my civic duty.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel says she's got proof.
She said, I'm an innocent little bystander.
Someone took her signature, along with the others in the room, off a plain piece of paper and transposed them to an official federal election document.
We signed a sign-in sheet with our names. It fits right into the real elector ballot.
Also in attendance, she says,
we walked to the Capitol building with, it's all in the news, it's all in Google, with attorney Ian Northam, a Trump attorney, and we were not allowed in the building. I was an innocent little bystander in this whole thing, thinking I was doing my civic duty.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel says she's got proof. These 16 Michiganders deliberately and knowingly posed as electors, knowing they were not. But at the Capitol that day...
That's all I'm going to say. I've been sworn to secrecy.
This plan to reject the will of the voters and undermine democracy was fraudulent and legally baseless. The false electors' actions undermine the public's faith in the integrity of our elections.
Yeah, so keep in mind, she is, Michelle Lundgren, that is 73 years old. She tells me she is terrified that she could be convicted and spend the rest of her natural life in jail. Remember, these charges can go up to 80 years in prison. If these folks are convicted, their first day in court is August 10th. Back to you.
I certainly hear the terror and concern in her voice. Boy. Paula, we appreciate your report today.
Damn good get on that reporter. Holy fuck. That was awesome. I mean, I kind of believe her because I say it all the time. Right-wingers are morons. But, like, ignorance is no excuse. don't get you off when you committed crimes, and that's a serious crime. Oh my God. Is everybody nice and high? The term not high enough for this shit was invented for exactly what you're getting ready to watch right now. Presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testified in front of Congress, and apparently it got nasty. Take it away, RFK.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, maybe we could put 5 minutes on the clock then, not 10.
Could we put 5 on the clock and start it running?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to put aside my written statement for a moment and address one of the points that was brought up, I think an important point by the ranking member, that this body ought to be concerning itself with the with issues that impact directly the American people. The rising price of groceries, 76% over the past 2 years for basic foodstuff, the war in Ukraine, the inflation issues, the border issues, many, many other issues that concern us all as a nation. We can't do that without the First Amendment, without debate. When I gave my speech, my announcement speech in Boston 2 months ago, YouTube, I talked about all those issues. I focused on grocery. I focused on the fact that working class people can no longer afford to live in this country. I talked about inflation, all the issues that deeply concern you, and that you've devoted your career to alleviating those issues. 5 minutes into my speech, when I was talking about Paul Revere, YouTube deplatformed me. I didn't talk about vaccines in that speech. I didn't talk about anything that was a verboten subject. I just was talking about my campaign and things, the conversation that we ought to be having with each other as Americans. But I was shut down, and that is why the First Amendment's important. Debate, congenial, respectful debate is the fertilizer, it's the water, it's the sunlight for our democracy. We need to be talking to each other. Now, this is a letter that many of you signed, many of my fellow Democrats. I've spent my life in this party. I've devoted my life to the values of this party.
Then why are you letting right-wingers finance your campaign?
This itself is evidence of the problem that this hearing was convened to address. This is an attempt to censor a censorship hearing. The charges in this, and by the way, censorship is antithetical to our party. It was appalling to my father, to my uncle, to FDR, to Harry Truman, to Thomas Jefferson, as the chairman referred to. It is the basis for democracy. It sets us apart from all of the previous forms of government. We need to be able to talk, and the First Amendment was not written for easy speech. It was written for the speech that nobody likes you for. And I was censored not just by the Democratic administration, I was censored by the Trump administration. I was the first person censored by as the chairman pointed out, by the Biden administration 2 days after it came into office. Anti-Semitism, racism. These are the most appalling, disgusting pejoratives, and they're applied to me to silence me. Because
No. The charge of anti-Semitism comes at you because we all heard you say that they created COVID and it was targeting certain races, and it didn't affect Chinese people and Ashkenazi Jews. This is what you fucking said. We all fucking heard it. You don't piss in our eye pussy and tell us it's raining. Oh, you wasn't expecting that one, were you?
That conversation about the war, about groceries, about inflation, about the war on the middle class in this country that we need to be having. And by the way, I want to say this while I'm on the record, that in my entire life, and why I'm under oath, in my entire life, I have never uttered a phrase that was either racist or anti-Semitic. I have spent my life fighting my professional career, fighting for Israel, the protection of Israel. I have a better record on Israel than anybody in this chamber today. I'm the only person who has publicly objected to the $2 billion payout that the Biden administration is now making to Iran, which is a genocidal program. I'm the only one who's objected to that. I fought more ferociously for Israel than anybody. But I am being censored here.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Target, through smears, through misinterpretations of what I've said, through lies, through association, which is a tactic that we all thought we had been discredited and dispensed with after the...
Why are we having a congressional hearing for this motherfucker to air his grievances about how he thinks the media has mistreated him? This seems like a waste of fucking time.
Army McCarthy hearings in the 1950s, but those same weapons are now being deployed against me to silence me. I know many of the people who wrote this letter. I don't believe there's a single person who signed this letter who believes
I agree with you, Flash.
I do not believe that. There is no evidence of that. Now, I want to say something I think that's more important, and it goes directly to what you talked about, ranking member, which is the need, this toxic polarization that is destroying our country today. And how do we deal with that? This kind of division is more dangerous for our country than any time since the American Civil War. And how do we deal with that? How are we going to, every Democrat on this committee believes that we need to end that polarization. Do you think you can do that by censoring people? I'm telling you, you cannot. That only aggravates and amplifies the problem. We need to start being kind to each other. We need to start being respectful to each other. We need to start restoring the comedy to this.
We need to start kicking authority in the balls.
It has to start here.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
My uncle, Edward Kennedy, has more legislation with his name on it than any senator in United States history. Why is that? Because he was able to reach across the aisle. Because he didn't deal in insults. Because he didn't try to censor people. He brought home people who were antithetical to what he believed.
But Teddy Kennedy, right? He
came home almost every weekend with people like Orrin Hatch to our house at the compound in Hyannisport. At that time, Orrin Hatch to me was like Darth Vader, because I was an environmentalist. And I was saying, why is Teddy bringing this guy home? But he knew that he was effective because he understood that comedy and respect and kindness and compassion and empathy for other people is the way that the only way to restore the function in this chamber. But more importantly, today we need to give an example in the leadership of our country of being respectful to each other. If you think I said something that's anti-Semitic, let's talk about the details. I'm telling you all the things that I'm accused of right now by you. And in this letter are distortions, they're misrepresentations. I didn't say those things. There's fragments that I said, but I denounce anybody who uses the words that I have said to imply something that is negative about people who are Jewish. I never said those things. And I want to point out also that the chairman pointed to Dennis Kucinich, who's fighting behind me. There is no two people in the country who feel more differently about American politics than these two people, and yet they were friends. Dennis attended his children's basketball games, attended his daughter's wedding. This is what we need, how we need to.
He says he didn't say it. One more time. Fucking hear it for yourself.
And we need to talk about bioweapons. I know a lot now about bioweapons because I've been doing a book on it for the past.
Now everybody verify for it. That is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., correct? Not AI. This is not some body double.
2.5 years, and you know, the technology that we now have to develop these microbes, we've put hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes. The Chinese have done the same thing. In fact, COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacked certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure, genetic differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese. But we don't know whether it was deliberately targeted that or not.
I feel like she knew.
That show the racial and ethnic differential impact to that. We do know that the Chinese are spending.
Somebody was like in the background. DJ Dub D. Welcome, my friend.
Hundreds of millions of dollars developing ethnic bioweapons, and we are developing ethnic bioweapons. That's what all those labs in the Ukraine are about. They're collecting Russian DNA. They're collecting Chinese DNA.
Labs in the Ukraine.
So we can target people by race.
There's a lot going on there, but that was racist, right? And I do believe that he spoke for over 5 minutes. I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure he said those things. Are you hungry for some fried chicken? A Senate panel on Thursday advanced a bill that would require the Supreme Court to adopt a code of ethics after a fiery partisan debate over recent scandals involving justices that underscored the measure's low chances of success. The legislation, backed by Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee, is a response to revelations about justices, in particular Justice Clarence Thomas, accepting free luxury travel. Polls suggest public approval of the Supreme Court has reached historic lows, and even Chief Justice John Roberts has described the ethics issues swirling around the nation's highest court as an issue of concern. Citing a steady stream of reports of justices' ethical failures, Senator Dick Durbin, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, described the legislation as a crucial I don't know why I said his name that way. Don't ask. I'm sorry. A crucial first step in restoring confidence in the court. But Republicans on the committee who voted in unison against the bill framed the legislation as a very partisan effort to bully a Supreme Court where conservatives have a 6-3 majority. Republicans offered a series of amendments, including one that would make it easier for federal judges to carry weapons. And I'm just imagining like Elena Kagan with some nunchucks. Yaw. Another that would bar journalists from publishing stories about draft opinions without approval from the court itself. Republican Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana had a very wild, folksy analogy, his stance on this bill.
This bill is dead as fried chicken.
What does that mean? Fried chicken is in. Fried chicken. He's serious. Motherfucker is serious as a heart attack.
It's going to get out of committee. It doesn't have 60 votes in the Senate. And it sure...
Tell me fried chicken don't have 60 fucking votes.
So why do it? Why do it? Why beat the living crap out of the United States Supreme Court?
Deserve it. Because fucking we like to kick authority in the
He's
balls
kicking
around
authority in
here.
the balls.
I know you don't have any reference when it comes to balls, sir. Old lady Kennedy. Fucking.
I just don't get it. I understand politics, but
no, you don't.
I just don't get it. This bill.
You're friends with Ted Cruz and Marsha Blackburn. You want to talk about not getting something. Fuck you, old lady Kennedy. Not literally, figuratively. I do have some standards. Not a lot, but some. Hopefully this works. Last night, we watched a good chunk of the hearings on the Hunter Biden's dong hearings. If you missed the show last night, the talking about where Marjorie Taylor Greene showed Hunter Biden's dick to Congress.
You live in sexual anarchy.
I showed my cover thumbnail to Sparkles, and she was like, "Why do we have to hear about her jack off material?" I was like, "Indeed." Well, Fox's The Five was talking about the IRS whistleblower, and this young lady here, who I don't know her name, she just completely eviscerates the right-wing argument.
Him about his testimony that he did behind closed doors and what came out today. And I hate to disagree with that's a lie. I love to disagree with the table. But there was a lot of new information elicited out of this. So Ro Khanna, when he was questioning Gary Shapley, got him to admit that the, quote, vast majority of cases like Hunter's that go before the tax council, they decide not to charge. He also got Gary Shapley to admit that he never said that Merrick Garland lied to Congress. So that's a right-wing talking point. There's always a timeline problem, and this happened with the Twitter files too, where I heard all about that pesky Biden administration that wanted to censor everyone, and then it turned out Brandon the line, and that it was the Trump administration. So Ziegler's testimony, and there are mainstream news outlets that are posting snippets of his testimony, not admitting the fact that the IRS investigators, when they were talking to appointees in the DOJ about going forward, were Trump appointees. It was Bill Barr. David Weiss, also a Trump appointee. It's true. He said that he was someone who shared his vision for making America safe again. So
he
these
was
issues
blocked from bringing felony charges in two
he
separate
wasn't,
districts.
and he sent another letter saying that wasn't
that's
the case.
That's not true. But at the time, they made contemporaneous notes that are very important. That
But it's interesting because Mr. X Ziegler wasn't even in the meeting that he's talking about between Shapley and David Weiss where this allegedly happened. That's pretty important,
but
right?
Shapley was in it, and he made the contemporaneous
And then
notes.
he also, today, has admitted that Garland did not lie to Congress, and Garland said that he did not interfere whatsoever with David Weiss's investigation. Again, a Trump appointee.
When he says...
We're just questioning him about his testimony.
It's always just bullshit with Republicans. Bullshit, made up bullshit. It's tiring. Fucking Kennedy, I know. We went from Senator John Kennedy to early 90s MTV VJ Kennedy. Now a Fox News host libertarian. Insane. Been looking forward to watching this video. After incorrectly referring to Representative Delia Ramirez of Illinois, this is United States Representative Delia Ramirez of Illinois. The committee chair, Representative Mark Green of Tennessee, called her Miss Garcia. Called Representative Ramirez Miss Garcia.
Ms. Garcia, you're recognized.
Ramirez. Miss Ramirez.
Ms. Ramirez, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And as I think about the hearing now and hearing the witnesses, I think about just last year how a horrific domestic terror attack at Buffalo, New York supermarket left our nation reeling. My colleagues across the aisle offered up their thoughts and prayers, but they offered no actions to address racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism. It is not lost on me that before murdering 10 people at the supermarket last year, the shooter wrote, and I quote, "We are experiencing an invasion on a level never seen before in history." However, twisted justification, the shooter believed he was repelling an invasion of the United States by immigrants from Latin America. Does that sound familiar? Mr. Maltz, in your testimony, you said, "I know what's going on in America." So let me ask you, do you support the assertion that the United States is experiencing a historic invasion by immigrants? That's a yes or no question.
Illegal immigrants from around the world, yes,
no?
yes.
So you believe that we are experiencing a historic invasion of immigrants?
Yes.
So despite knowing that the Pittsburgh shooter justified his actions based on the idea of an immigrant invasion to replace white people, despite knowing that invasion ideology was used to justify the shootings in El Paso and Buffalo, you continue to espouse this great replacement theory and extremist ideology that people like me, when my mother crossed the border pregnant with me, don't deserve to be here because we are invading the country? Mr. Chairman, this hearing is not a fact-finding mission. It's a raw political sham to stoke fear, and it will continue to justify the violence against immigrant communities, and I find that unacceptable.
It was Representative Delia Ramirez, Illinois. It says committee chair Rep. Mark Green, but it doesn't say what committee this was. I don't know what the hearing was on, but this...
Ms. Garcia, you're recognized.
Ramirez.
Ramirez. Holy shit. Right, like, is that on purpose? I wouldn't put it past him. Oh. Now going to Atlanta, Georgia. member calls colleague un-American, pushing for multilingual ballots in an Atlanta suburb. A Morrow City councilwoman said a Vietnamese American colleague failed as a citizen of this country and dishonored her office. Holy shit.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Christine.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to make a comment as a citizen on the floor. Mayor and members of the audience, as a citizen, I am proud of the work that the city is doing, the council is doing, and our citizens, they have stepped up. I know that they appreciate what the council is doing for this city.
God damn it, like,
as Councilman Quad says,
wherever the microphone is, probably attached to the camera somewhere, is right next to the fucking air conditioner.
I'd like to say as well that we have staff that go above and beyond.
Geared for quality growth.
Department.
What does that even mean?
They are doing work for the city, keeping our city looking good and all of that. They have also doubled as event staff support. And I'd like to say thank you to them for being there. And we appreciate that. But my comment as a citizen is, I'd like to say that I am a very proud American. And I love this country. And I am honored to be a citizen of this great city of Morrow. And also, I would like to make a comment on a motion that an elected official, Councilwoman Tran, made a few weeks ago. And that motion was to try and get a change on the voting ballot, which was to include the Vietnamese language. And with an afterthought, she included Spanish in that motion.
Why limit it to the Vietnamese language?
On the July 2nd,
I understand they probably have a
event that the city held.
Vietnamese population.
Tran, along with several others, were at that event displaying a flyer. That flyer was in only one language, and that was Vietnamese. The only individuals that could read that flyer were Vietnamese. So they continued to engage and solicit signatures for that petition of getting a vote on the ballot to include Vietnamese.
I bet they got some awesome Vietnamese restaurants.
Was disturbing to me.
Yum yum.
Because you as an immigrant American, you took an oath of citizenship that was read and given to you in English. That language you swore an allegiance to become an American citizen. You also took an oath to be an elected official right here in this chamber. You swore and took an oath of allegiance to America in English. As a citizen, as an elected official.
Uh-oh, she going Karen.
Encouraging citizens to learn to speak, read, and write the language in which they are citizens of this country.
We don't have an official language, ma'am.
Instead, you wanted to get a petition signed to include another country's language on the American voting ballot.
We don't have an official language, ma'am.
That offended me highly.
Offends me highly that you don't know that we don't have an official language.
Country for 72 years, who has had to march, stand in lines and protest to get the right to vote. And I do it in honor of people who did not have the opportunity or the right to vote. And I'd like you to know that I feel, as a citizen of this city and as a fellow council member, that you do not deserve to sit on that dais as an elected official. You have failed in your oath of office. You have failed as a citizen of this country. You disregarded and you dishonored those oaths that you took as an American citizen. I would like to say that is un-American and inexcusable. Shame on you, Van Train. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor.
Wow.
That's the healthy cause, and it's come directly to me, and I would like to have a few comments.
A couple things. The first one, we had a phenomenal series of events, and we certainly could not have pulled it off without the support of our citizens, our guests, which came out to have a phenomenal time. Anyone who enjoys artists, regardless of whether it's rock and roll to just about anything, the cultural dancers from India were phenomenal. The weather was hot. But it didn't rain until.
Okay, so first of all, what a diverse city council they have. Why she gotta? Mayor over here is like, let's talk about anything other than what she just said. Let's divert attention completely away from that. Cause she just went ballistic on this lady over here. Geared for quality growth with terrible audio.
Like later, then it wasn't tremendously terrible. So the city performed well, and that's what this is all about. So we appreciate that, and all of those who took part in it. It was a lot of work, and we're getting better. Each time we do this, and as your peers are now starting to recognize.
I like that he's so optimistic after.
There's a number of other things.
He's still over there fuming.
If you had a chance to see, they started putting up the chain link fence around the Sears today. Most of that's going to be some internal stuff that's going to get taken out before they start to demo part of that building. So there you have your $100 million development, and you have an 8,000 seat arena. So by the time 24 months passes, some of the same things you saw this weekend.
And what if you're Councilwoman Tran over here? Like, what the fuck are you thinking? After this woman just went ballistic on you for 5 minutes, she went all Hunter Biden on her. She treated her like she just found a laptop from hell. What the fuck? I feel sorry for her. That was insane. We watched some wild shit on this stream. Let's keep it going. There's a U.S. soldier who is being charged with some shit. They were going to send him back to the U.S. to court-martial him and discharge him. And he jumped over the line into North Korea. There you go. There's your setup. We're going to hear from his family.
Tonight, a picture of Travis King coming into sharper focus. The U.S. Army private set off a diplomatic crisis when he dashed across South Korea's border with North Korea Tuesday.
I noticed this guy running very fast, sort of in a line towards the North Korean side.
Sarah Leslie from New Zealand said she was on a guided tour of the demilitarized zone that King joined.
My initial thought was like, oh my god, he's obviously doing that as a TikTok stunt.
Sure.
That's the stupidest thing you could ever do.
Sarah showed us this picture she said she took minutes before King dashed across the DMZ, evading more than a dozen South Korean and American soldiers, she said. King can be seen here, she said, in the black hat and shirt. So were you afraid? Did you think that they were going to start shooting?
I was afraid, yes.
While serving in South Korea, King had multiple run-ins with the law, according to local legal documents. Last September, he was accused of assaulting a man at a nightclub. And in a separate incident in October, police arrested him for assault. While sitting in a police car, King shouted insults at Koreans and Korean police, according to court documents. He also kicked the car, causing nearly $500 in damage.
Get on
And he
him.
was just released after nearly 2 months in a South Korean prison, according to American officials who spoke anonymously to the Associated Press. His family back home in Wisconsin, distraught.
He had a father, but his dad was never around, so my sister took care of him, and then at the same time, he had to man up. So he want to take care of his mama, take care of his family. That's how I view my nephew.
The family is hurt because of this. His mother is very upset. She talked to somebody yesterday and just asked them could they just get her son out of there.
King was supposed to board a flight to the States for more military discipline. American soldiers even escorted King to the airport, but left him at his gate. According to Korean media, King was able to leave the airport after he said he had lost his passport. And that's when Private King managed to join a guided tour to the North Korean border and ran headlong into one of the world's most totalitarian regimes.
Thanks for watching our YouTube.
One of two things is going to happen. He'll live a decent life in Pyongyang, and they'll use him for propaganda, like he'll star in their propaganda movies and shit. They do that. Take Americans that defect and shit. Or he's going to a prison camp. It's probably like 50-50 either way, right? Good luck with that, dude. Oh. Could negotiate his release and he come back brain dead. That's happened. I guess that's on the menu of things that could happen. Jesus. Police in North Dakota apparently stopped a shooting. There was a traffic stop led to a shootout with the cops, and the gunman apparently had a shit ton of ammo on him. Could have been just another day.
In the shooting that killed a Fargo officer who grew up in Minnesota. Investigators say the man who opened fire ambushed these 4 officers with some serious firepower. And today they revealed they think those officers stopped something even more sinister.
It's clear to me this person was out to kill.
Hundreds of rounds, high-powered rifles, handguns, a grenade, and gasoline. These new images show the devastating firepower found inside Mohammed Barakat's car.
The weaponry and the intent and the commitment to place great carnage upon our community.
That firepower aimed at officers after a fender bender in Fargo on Friday.
It was an absolute ambush. There's no other way to describe that.
23-year-old officer Jake Willeen from St. Michael lost his life. 2 other officers, Andrew Dotis and Tyler Hawes, are still in the hospital.
We still need those thoughts and prayers for them. They've got some obstacles to overcome.
So is an innocent woman.
Shot as she was trying to flee the gunfire.
And the Attorney General says the shooter would have caused even more carnage.
We had reason to believe we knew where he was headed. And there were a lot of people down here Friday afternoon.
If not for a 4th officer's steady shot.
And one of the rounds that he fired at Barakat disabled the long rifle. Absolute courage under fire.
The police chief says his officers put their lives on the line.
It's a hell of an effort, and it's an incredible act of valor and heroism.
To keep the community safe.
There are these people who will do these things that we won't.
And flags are flying at half-staff for the officer who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Be worthy.
Had a hell of a mustache.
Be worthy of what all these men and women do. Be worthy.
Officer Walling will be
now he's a good cop.
In Pequot Lakes. We're expecting more information on the gunman and his motivation during a press conference on Friday.
Well, this country's wild, man. That's what, like, could I have done the Troll Patrol 10 years ago? Was there enough news for me to be able to comment? Because, like, it just keeps coming and coming. Here we are on the Troll Patrol, where I show you the fucking craziest shit the internet has to offer. Craziest motherfucking shit all through the... You're welcome, DJ Dub. I'm probably not high enough for this one. A teen mom tried to hire a hitman to kill her like a 3-year-old.
Developing now, just a horrific story. An 18-year-old mother bonding out after being accused of the unthinkable.
Yeah, police say she tried to hire a hitman to kill her own 3-year-old son. Local 10 News reporter Syra Anwar is live outside the jail in West Miami-Dade.
I know you have the...
I've got multiple, like, I don't even think I can ask the questions that I want to ask. I would get TOS. But, like, if you're gonna do it, do you have to hire a hitman? If you're that fucking evil, you can't do it. You're fucking... Seriously.
The latest on this murder for hire plot that, I mean, it was just all of us are shaking our heads about this one.
Yeah, ma'am, I am too.
Absolutely. If you read the arrest report, Christy, it is unbelievable. I tried to talk to this woman as she was leaving the jail this morning. I asked her what she thought about these charges. She had no comment, but these allegations against her are very serious and very disturbing. Did you hire a hitman to kill your son? No comment from Jasmine Paez as she walks out of the County Correctional Center alone, out on bond. Jasmine, do you have any comment on what you're accused of? 18-year-old Paez is accused of trying to hire a hitman online to kill her 3-year-old son. Documents say she was soliciting a hitman from a website, but didn't know the site was actually made to alert authorities to attempts just like this one. The arrest report says the online request reason was, quote, to get something done once and for all, end quote, and included a photo of the little boy.
That's fucked. Okay, she probably needs help. There's something wrong with her. that website that they're like, okay, they're not catching like real people, they're catching stupid people. So I don't know how I feel about this website they got going on there. It feels a little entrapment-y.
Paez allegedly then offered a hitman, who was actually a detective, $3,000 for the job. Paez was arrested Wednesday night after authorities tracked the IP address from the hitman request to Paez and verified her phone as the one used to text the detective, whom she thought was a hitman. In fact, a detective says the hitman website was still active on her phone's web browser. She was booked into TGK, a Miami-Dade bond court judge setting her bond at $15,000.
Just 15?
The judge ordered that Paez must stay away from that child, who is currently under the care of a grandparent. But what happens next as far as that child's custody is not yet clear. We are working on getting that update for you. But that is the very latest from West Miami-Dade County. Syra Onwer, Local 10 News.
Fuck Nazis. Good evening. Glad to see you. You came in at a weird time. Not high enough for this shit. Why do I do this? Why do you guys watch this? Why is this appealing? You're all a bit touched.
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
Oh God, I can't top that one, can I? What the fuck is next on the list? Well, and don't forget we got the trial of Taylor Shabusiness coming up. I'm gonna keep an eye on that one. If you guys are unaware, they have ordered. She had been ordered to stand trial. They had a mental competency hearing, and she'd been like found competent to stand trial. But then the judge is like, no, maybe we ought to check her out again. That's where we're at right now. The trial is supposed to take place in September, if I remember correctly, but could be postponed pending. Thought I had a Maynard under me. Could be postponed pending her competency hearing. Apparently, this iron worker fell 150 foot from a bridge.
Is desperate for help. They just witnessed a man plummet from a bridge. Thanks to them, Good Samaritans were able to reach the man, who miraculously survived the fall.
Make sure you act like you don't know him and be like, oh, that's badass.
Fall from the bridge, which stands 150 feet above the water. Amber Cogliano has details.
It's a race to save a man who has just fallen off a bridge.
I see him! I see him!
This is the Ambassador Bridge that connects Detroit to Canada. An iron worker fell 150 feet into the Detroit River. Look very closely. That black dot is the moment he fell, and you can see a splash of water. Will he survive? A family nearby saw it all happen. You see a little girl pulling on a door. A relative is with her.
You see somebody? Yeah, he right there. Somebody just fell.
Okay, there's a lot of shocking things about this. And number one on the top of the list was that we actually had somebody working on a bridge. Like, well, this is America. We don't fix our bridges.
He was working on the bridge.
We heard really loud banging on our side door and people yelling that somebody had fallen from the bridge.
Captain Sam Buchanan, who works for a boating company, rushed into action.
I'm sorry, Battle of Possum.
To help us, they're like, there he is, there he is.
I see him. Get him, get him, get him. Right there. They got him, they got him.
He really wasn't swimming. He was just bobbing in the river, and he had no life jacket on. Once we got him out, we put a blanket on him and just reassured him.
The man, identified as 27-year-old Spencer Baker, was in a daze.
Did he say anything to you?
He just kept asking why was he wet and what happened to him over and over again. I said, you fell off a bridge.
I'm a wit.
The boat makes it back to shore with Baker, very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, he's breathing.
He's since been released from the hospital after suffering a few broken bones and a lot of bruises. Here he is with his 4-month-old daughter.
I remember falling and I was just thinking that this is it, man. My life's over. I'm never going to get to see my daughter again.
How about this? The guys who rescued him are not from the Coast Guard, and they're not first responders. They deliver mail to ships going up and down the river.
The people that really deserve the credit were those folks in the park that saw him fall and did something.
Somebody just got him.
Good job. The harbor master called the man's survival a miracle. After all, in 2012, a worker died after falling from that same bridge.
God damn. That's why I don't fuck with that shit. I don't like heights. I gotta hit the content warning before this one. One of those where I've been told that I can't show this motherfucker's face without hitting the content warning. I don't fuck with bridges. I've got anxiety going over. I know how many bridges in the United States are structurally deficient. There's like fucking 45,000 or something like that. I don't like it. Purgatorus apparently gone bald over here. See over here on the Discord. It's a bald boy summer. I'm doing bald boy summer, and then I'm gonna grow the hair back out. Feet under the bridges. Tow truck did fuck his bridge up. Fucked a bridge up. It was not his. Whole other story. All right, let's talk about. I don't even know why. Like, we do serious news, but then we gotta do like bullshit. And this is like. Hi, this is why am I gonna do this? Matt Gaetz and Ginger Gaetz. They went to the Barbie premiere. Ginger Gaetz, the wife of Representative Matt Gaetz, advised her Twitter followers to skip the much talked about Barbie movie despite attending the film's premiere, and the fucking media is killing me. Apparently tweeted out, thinking about watching the Barbie movie, I'd recommend sticking to getting outfit inspiration and skipping the theater. Here's why. Smokey, stop hitting the microphone. Barbie I grew up with was a representation of limitless possibilities, embracing diverse careers and feminine empowerment. The 2023 Barbie movie, unfortunately, neglects to address any notion of faith or family. Why would it address faith or family? Did I say butt fuck? Ain't nothing wrong with a little butt fucking. If you're gonna do it though, I've got some advice for you.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
In 2023, the Barbie movie unfortunately neglects to address any notion of faith or family. It tries to normalize the idea that men and women can't collaborate positively. Really? Does it? All the promotional shit made it look like, you know, Barbie and Ken had a great relationship. Looks like Margot Robbie and Ryan Reynolds play. Yeah, the movie looks fun. It looks like they play well off of each other. The pros: Margot Robbie's performance. Well, at least we can all agree on that. That's a bipartisan issue. Stunning costume design, amazing soundtrack. The cons: the unfortunate portrayal of big dreams causing anxiety instead of inspiration. Disappointing low T from Ken. Unfair treatment of pregnant Barbie Midge. Really wanted to enjoy it, but ended up feeling let down. So that was Ginger Gaetz' take on the Barbie movie. Ginger Gaetz. That is the woman who is married to Matt Gaetz. Buddy, what is up with you? Here. Gotta say hey to everybody now. He always looks so pissed off at everything. He's the sweetest cat. It's hard to get work done with this motherfucker, but I love him so much. Thumbs up or thumbs down on Matt and Ginger Gaetz' outfits? Her dress is cute. What the fuck? What is up with this? I don't. This doesn't seem possible to me. Seems way too creepy. She seems like she's cute and adorable, but like, I don't know, looks can be deceiving. She was in high school. Well, it is indeed creepy. Whatever happened to the kid that lived with him? Like Nestor. What happened to Nestor? Okay, so Fox News, in order to replace Tucker Carlson, they selected Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters knew exactly the audience to appeal to. He brought on Pat fucking Boone.
Pat, what is happening to country music?
It's gotten sick. I can't believe it's country music. I'm thinking about Trace Adkins, you know, and of course, many of those songs.
Trace Adkins was a wife beater. Now, I will say I've seen Trace Adkins in concert. The man's got some pipes on him, and he's got some catchy tunes. But he is a wife beater.
Songs were, they were very supportive of opposing America's enemies. What we're not taking into account is that many of our enemies are in our own house. And they're in our own countries, in our own streets. I live in a small town called Beverly Hills. And believe it or not, just up the street not long ago, broad daylight, 3 hoodlums broke into a house up the street, and the police had to remove us from our house while they searched because 2 of the criminals they caught, but one got away down the back alley over here, and they thought he might have gotten into our yard. Meanwhile, a neighbor, a tough little Italian lady named Josephine Resigno, she had taken some shooting lessons and had a gun sitting in her lap.
All right, Papa, you're rambling.
What was happening? It was right next door here in Beverly Hills, the small town of Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And she said she was sitting there in the kitchen with her gun in her lap, hoping the guy would come in. She wanted to discourage him in a very positive way. And why had she gone to all the training to use that gun to defend her house?
I just recently, there's a woman that like has like a German news channel, and I like, cause like that story hasn't gotten a lot of coverage. Laid down like all the facts and everything, and apparently, yeah, he's like the band themselves have said like they've drifted apart from him over the last like 10 years. What the fuck did that have to do with country music? That like he's become like a completely different person and shit, and he's got like this fucking like rape dungeon or something under the stage. And it gets to the point where if enough people have the same story, you gotta fucking believe it. And there are enough people with the same fucking story that like this is definitely to be believed. I hate that about Till Lindemann. Yeah, I love some Rammstein. Apparently the dude is a real fucking creep. Marilyn Manson's a fucking creep. It wasn't hard to rid myself of Marilyn Manson songs. Like there wasn't a lot of shit that I like. I really like the Mechanical Animals period. I like glam rock an awful lot, or glam metal. That album really like fucking scratches an itch. Fuzzy Face, good evening. Talking about musical creeps. That had nothing to do with country music. We watched Pat Boone. Papa bitched about some old lady having a gun. And that, my friends, is the replacement for Tucker Carlson. Jesse Waters interviewing Pat Boone. I can't end on that. I mean, that, like, I've got an animal video, but, like, that was shitty fucking, my stalker is obsessed with my, my numbers, my views. Wild. Would be fun. Oh yeah, this is it. This is it. I don't even know. This is people I don't know anything about. Sounds fat. Oh, chainsaw. Okay, so with any time I change my Twitter handle, go to the pinned tweet and you will get the lore. I take care of you. So yes, if I change to Justin Sounds Fat, you can go to the pinned tweet and it will tell you the comment. It's always like something a right winger has said about me. Watch 30 seconds and you sound fat. So now I'm Justin Sounds Fat. I've been many things over the last few months. It's a fun little game I play. But one person called me a troll hall monitor. So I was Justin Troll Hall Monitor for a little while. Well, if you ever wonder about the handle, I always leave the comment up for you. And every time it's like, oh shit, new Twitter handle dropped. I don't even know how I sound fat. Like, even if I was, like, fucking most radio personalities aren't, you know about the Island Boys? What the fuck are the Island Boys?
Stop it! Don't do that! Hey, why are you making out with your brother, dude? I'll give you a pass on being ugly and stupid. But making out with your brother, dude? I'm pretty sure family loving is how creatures like you are created. It's up to you to stop the cycle. Stop the cycle right now! Or at least throw your f***ing phones in the ocean so we don't have to watch. Florida, confiscate these guys' Wi-Fi connection immediately! One of them said, we're both straight males and kissing is not counted as a sexual act. No, bro, it counts! That's why you don't see a bunch of straight dudes running around kissing each other, because it 100% definitely counts! Who told you that it doesn't count? He was lying to you!
Tom McDonald sounds fat.
And then never do it again! Never! Never! He abused you! You were abused! Island Boys. Which island are these boys from? Is it the one all those presidents and famous people were flying to all the time? You know the one! Ah! I can't get this image out of my head! Ah!
Yeah, what are the Island Boys? Can somebody explain that? Why are they kissing? What in the fuck? I will say that in some cultures, like, they do, like, they kiss. Yeah, fuck Tom McDonald, but yeah, why are those two kissing? Or, like, it's... If I had to guess, knowing... Because I don't even fucking know who these fucking two dudes are. If I had to guess, they're doing it just for, like, you know, shock value. To get shares and people talking about them. You know, for clout. Let them kiss if they were, you know, two brothers kissing. It's not my kink. It's not my kink. But two consenting adults. The incest thing is like, I had a girlfriend that had that kink. Okay, cool. Her mom wasn't very attractive. I should have tried to fuck her mom. I don't even know. Oh, why? I'm probably not wrong about the trying to get clicks. Tom McDonald was kind of funny in the way he said, like, that's the first time I've ever heard Tom McDonald talk. It was kind of funny the way he said it. Yeah, they're just doing it for views. I'm just doing it for views. Oh yeah, she is dead now. I shouldn't laugh. Oh my god. Yeah, the person I was talking about was Crack Whore. I've referred to her as Crack Whore many times on the show. He was the one with the incest kink. How'd you even know? How did you know? How did he fucking know? I mean, he's my best friend, but I don't think I ever told him that. Going really TMI. I mean, I had a cousin. We were only half cousins, and she was really fucking cute. Anyway, that's besides the point. God damn. How did he know that's who I was talking about? Anyway, it was the crack whore. But yeah, but I've been. It's not like you didn't have a lot of options to pick from. Oh, maybe I did tell him then. Okay, we have been fucked up a lot. One time, he and I got into a fight at a Halloween party over a game of Rook. We were like super competitive with each other. They do it. I am from Kentucky. That is a thing. I'm so... Let's do animal video. Up of this. A wild news night. A lot of crazy shit. Gonna watch a cat go for a ride. He's got a little helmet. Really into it. Her mom wasn't attractive. I wasn't like my dad might have fucked her mom. I don't know what they were alone during a NASCAR race. I don't know if he like fucked her behind the race, or they hit it off. There was meth involved. Oh yeah, let me pay attention to the cat. Fuck my fucked up stories. A really cool visor. I do not discriminate. Like some of the best times I ever had. Like, I had an amazing night with this woman. She was like one of the most amazing experiences I've had. I try to balance Venus, so I try to balance it. Some people like the rambling. People come for the news. I try to make it a bit like I try not to ramble too much. Try to make sure I get to the news. Try not to talk too much over the clips. Trying to hit the right fucking balance. Too much Q for DJ Dub. Well, the rest of the show certainly wasn't very cute. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. JustinFREAKIN. It's Thursday, isn't it? It is Thursday. I'll see